Our speaker, Chris Conroy, is going to speak to us today about the innovating to meet consumer needs. And Chris joined Kraft in 2011 as the Associate Director of Category Management, but he's been in leadership roles in the consumer product industry, in sales, shopper marketing, and category leadership. And I did forget to introduce myself. Sorry, guys. I'm Tracy Greer, and I'm a category manager for AWG. So back on to Chris. So he's currently the head of category leadership at Kraft Heinz, where he's responsible for linking shopper insights to the strategies and tactics to grow the category and to grow the store's sales. And he resides in Glenview, Illinois, and he's been active in his community in leadership roles with his church and his local school board. And Chris and his wife, Melissa, have 4 children, Noah, Theo, Matthew, and Cameron. So I'm going to hand it over to Chris to talk to us about innovating to meet consumer needs.
Awesome. Thanks, Tracy. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. The 4 kids are what happened up here. So that's the explanation. It's great to be here. Thanks for joining. It's exciting for me to be in Kansas City for a couple reasons. So the first is this. So I grew up in Philadelphia as an Eagles fan. And for those who watched the Super Bowl, you know it wasn't a good day for anybody from Philadelphia. So I've come to gain acceptance of what happened. And I came to Kansas City to make sure that I could deal with everything that happened on Super Bowl Sunday. And I think that's going well. But the second is to talk about how we can work together. And this is really the core of what Kraft Heinz category leadership does, is we work together with you to drive value. And it really depends on what value means to you. We customize our approaches, but it really centers around these 3 buckets. We try to get more people in your stores to spend more often. It's a really simple way to think about retailer economics. But how do we get more people to come in, spend more while they're there, and that can be putting more units in their basket, trading up to larger sizes, buying adjacent categories, and then come back more frequently because that's loyalty. And we want to drive that loyalty for you. So as we think about all of this is what we try to do around the shopper. And that's really my job, as Tracy said, is how do we link the shopper to make them more impactful for you? And we do that through a lot of different programs. Here at AWG, we invest in convergence. So we've done some work already that you might have seen in the condiment aisle around ketchup and creating a dipping destination and helping with sauces. We have a proprietary partnership with a company where we test all of our shelving principles to make sure they actually drive value, driving more people to spend more often. And then those principles help us set the sections. We bring those in partnership to AWG, and then through convergence, we get them out to you guys. So we love these types of partnerships where we can take that learning and actually activate it at shelf. And we've got some other things coming this year with mac and cheese, with pasta sauce, the baking aisle, and in beverages as we get back in business on Capri Sun and really try and drive that to be big for our shoppers as well. But it really is turning that shopper knowledge that we have into, so what do we do? How does that make a difference at the shelf? It's programs like this that help us get the word out. So as you see some of the innovation we talk about today, we're going to use the same type of vehicles to make sure you get the information of where it needs to go, and it actually has a grounding in shopper knowledge. So as a company, we're on a mission to be the most innovative food company, which is challenging for us. We've been around for over 100 years. We've got brands everybody knows. So how do you turn that into innovation? Well, it really all starts with the consumer. How do they make food? How do they eat food? What are the settings where they have to think about food? And how do we turn that into knowledge to create that into either food or ways to procure food in an easier fashion to make it accessible to them? So this knowledge and innovation engine, as we call it, all starts with the consumer. And you'll see a lot of that come through today. There's 4 different consumer areas that we've identified that make up about 80 to 90% of the growth that we're going to see over the next 5 years in grocery. The first one is called exploration and authenticity. New flavors, authentic flavors, global flavors fit into that bucket. And we're going to dive deep into each of these. Quick with quality. I want it good and I want it fast. So how can we increase convenience for the shopper, but also give them quality food that meets that need? Feel-good food. Those foods where you're not really counting calories, you just want indulgence and feeling better about the food you're eating. It makes you feel good. And then make your food count, the flip side of that, right? I don't want to go to the gym, but I want to eat better because that's a way for me to feel healthier. And I'm a good testament to this. This year, New Year's resolution, lost 30 pounds by eating better. I haven't started working out yet. That's still some muscles I have to flex, but this one is a big one for shoppers and consumers across the board is how can I do those things in my day-to-day eating that help me to feel better and get better? So we're going to dive into each of those. So the first one is quick with quality. People want to stay closer to home. They want to deliver for their family. They want convenience, but they want it to free up time to spend outside of cooking, outside of chores. And so the opportunities this offers us is how do we deliver that quality? How do we get people to feel like they're taking care of their family? How do we solve the microwave tension? Microwave is really hard and not necessarily the best for delivering quality food. How do we deliver that in a way that people feel good about what they're putting on the table? So I'm going to start this video.
Homebake lets you mix and match mains, sides, and vegetable dishes, baked all together in the same oven at 425 in just 30 minutes. So you can perfect your family's favorite every time. Homebake 425/30. Same oven, same temp, same time.
So we'll dive into this a little bit more, but this value equation, when we talk about it with consumers, is huge, right? They want easy preparation, same oven, same temp, same time, and then quality food, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So it's a combination of main dish, side dish, and veggie. There's 5 choices in each. You can mix and match these to make a meal. You pick one of each, you put them in the oven for 425 for 30 minutes. This is a new category. So if you think about what we've done in the rest of the store and actually what some other providers have done, meal solutions, meal kits, they've always been fresh. Some of them have been home delivered. This is a new category in frozen that's frozen meal solutions. That gives the consumer the choice of what they want to put together, and then they can go home and make it in an easy fashion. So it's one solution. It sits in one door in the frozen aisle. We've tested this regionally to make sure it works. And I will tell you that something, again, is that one innovation engine. That's a lot of what we're doing now is let's test it in market, get feedback from shoppers and consumers, and make changes. So the packaging, the name even has changed since we first started testing it. But now we've got it to a good state. As I said, it's in one door where people can make those decisions of which main, which side, which veggie do I want to choose. It serves 4. And this is launching this year. So you'll see Homebake coming to you as our sales team gets out and talks to you. And then we'll talk about how do we create that space. That's where my team comes in, is how do we create this space for it. Okay. I'll show you this next video just to make you hungry. There's no sound to it, but who doesn't like grilled cheese? Which is hard for me as I'm trying to eat better. The challenges, though, for making grilled cheese is the bread has to be crispy and the cheese has to be gooey. To try and do that in a microwave is really challenging. So we've created technology in the packaging that takes away this, the bread that's soggy and flips over, and creates bread that's crispy and the cheese still keeps the gooey texture to it. 45 seconds in the microwave, and then it becomes a really good grilled cheese. And so now that everyone's hungry, we'll flip over to the next slide and show you what's coming. So in this year, we're going to launch Lunchables frozen grilled cheesies. 2 different flavors, grilled cheese original and then bacon and cheese. These will be available in September, just in time for back to school. When kids get home, you can put it in the microwave for 45 seconds. And it'll be a quality grilled cheese sandwich that they'll feel like you made for them in a fry pan. So coming in September, but kind of back to that same quick with quality idea of I get the cheese and the bread that I want with a 45-second preparation and easy cleanup. So that's our quick with quality, really trying to deliver on that need. The next one is feel-good food. So comfort, feed my soul, elevating the mood is really what we're trying to do here. So it's that familiarity with the brand, simple pleasures, and really nutritious comfort that we're looking for in this need state, that consumers are asking for in this need state. So as you think about that, like that's Philadelphia cream cheese, right? I put it on a bagel, not healthy, but indulgent. Makes me feel good, and it's still clean ingredients. So this has been a phenomenal product. Obviously, people use it all the time in their bagels, but there's been a gap in that there's a consumer that wants plant-based, right? They either can't or don't want to choose dairy. And so launching in May is the Philadelphia plant-based cream cheese. 3 flavors, original, chive and onion, and strawberry. And it's a perfect segment, perfect time for us to jump in. So already, even though there hasn't been a brand playing in it, about 2% of the category has moved to plant-based. And you'll see later in the slide how fast the plant-based categories are accelerating. And this growth is phenomenal. It's up 38% in the last 4 years. Contrast that to soft cream cheese, the tubs, up about 8% over the last 4 years. And that's including the COVID timeframe and everything else. So phenomenal growth in plant-based and needed to be in this segment to make sure that consumers that can't or have a major barrier to entry into cream cheese have an opportunity to join this category. And so you'll see this starting in May. In the frozen, more frozen entries, so as we think about frozen mac and cheese, again, I'd love to have quality. I want to have brands that I trust. I want to have something a little bit more robust when I get into the mac and cheese category. And mac and cheese, the Kraft Mac and Cheese Deluxe is that brand that can bring that to frozen. So this is coming in April to the frozen category. Two flavors, and this will be launched. It's been tested with consumers, and it's #1 with families with kids, #1 in terms of flavor, #1 in delivering on the promises that Kraft Deluxe delivers to consumers. We've had tremendous excitement as consumers have tested this and tried it. The feedback has been, when can I get it? So coming in April, the Kraft Mac and Cheese Deluxe will be out there. And then has anyone tried the new refrigerated breakfast destination? So there's a brand from Jimmy Dean, and then there's a brand from Kraft Heinz called Just Crack an Egg. They're omelets in a cup. We call them scrambles for the Just Crack an Egg brand. Phenomenal category. It's going to be the next Lunchables when you think about refrigerated breakfast destination. Lunchables is a $1 billion category. This category has the same opportunity to do that. Some of it is in this omelet in a cup technology. There's others where you'll see breakfast wraps, breakfast pancakes that you can reheat. This is building on that same omelet in a cup technology. Again, around that indulgent comfort food need state. Scramblers with Oscar Mayer meat and the Oscar Mayer branding on it to really capture that indulgent consumer that's looking for a full breakfast that they know from a brand they trust. This category, as we bring it together in store, really resonates with consumers. Where it usually gets placed is in the dairy aisle, as close to eggs as you can get. You need up to 3 eggs. I've done 4, it doesn't go well. But you can put up to 3 eggs in one of these and make an omelet in about 1.5 minutes. So these are coming in June, and we'll be out there for the consumers to continue to expand this set. As I said, and we have tons of learning on this from our shopper work, putting this as a destination in your dairy set grows it by 23%. And these categories, these items are already doing well, but you grow another 23% by putting it together in dairy. The last segment, the last consumer need state we found is make your food count. So this gets back to the idea of my choices are really important. I want functional benefits. I want the new way of going to the gym. I want to make sure that I feel good about what I put in my body. And this is all about better for you, best for you. How do I choose items that are good for me or good for my family? A lot of this is around plant-based, but how do you make that approachable and accessible to consumers? And so that's what we're trying to do through a couple of different initiatives. But first I want to tell you a little bit about the consumer that we're targeting. This is not the hardcore vegetarian. These are people that go back and forth. They look for a balance between animal and plant-based, so they're trying to eat better. They're not necessarily trying to go all in, all plant-based, but they're very attractive consumers. First of all, they have about 60% of households now have flexitarian approaches to their food. They're younger. They have 75% of young adults have added plant-based food to their diet. Households with children, and they spend 61% more per year when they buy these products. So really an important consumer to capture and try and get into your franchises. Back to that, spend more often. This is a real way to get that because we help them feel better about themselves through this need state. You can see where this category is going. So Almost up to $2 billion as of 2020. We expect plant-based to be about $6 billion by the end of 2026. So really accelerating this category. And there's some real categories that look like there's big opportunities. So as you all know, almond milk, oat milk has really accelerated this plant-based initiative to about 70% of sales are now done in plant-based alternatives. You can see the upside for meat and cheese and mac and cheese and some other categories there. If we can enter in there and give options, people will buy them, trade up a little bit, and when you see some of our offerings, it's not going to be all the way to the massive plant-based prices. It's just a small incremental price to get people into something they feel better about. So we completed an agreement with a company called Notco that has been out in the market for several years. And they use a technology that matches up through artificial intelligence, all kinds of ingredients. So in their Notco milk, cabbage is one of the key items that goes into milk. So they look at ingredients that get to the same taste, but also the same texture. And what we've heard from these flexitarians is they won't compromise on taste. Vegetarians will. They're all in, they'll take it, and if they have to deal with a taste that's not as good, they will eat that product, but flexitarians will just stay in animal-based if they don't get the taste that they want. So to get them into these products, they have to taste good, and that's what our artificial intelligence does is how do we get those products to taste good, have the same consistency, just be healthier. We're bringing hey, we've got scale, we've got marketing muscle, we can help you with your products as you create them. And we also have products that can use this technology to enter into categories that need flexitarian options. So meat, cheese, mac and cheese, you'll see some of those on the next page. That's where the combination comes in and gets powerful. So these are the categories that we're entering this year and next. We just completed a test on plant-based cheese slices. So we did a small test up in Cleveland to see how it went with the market and what they reacted to. As I mentioned, that's a new part of our innovation process. And these plant-based slices in 13 weeks became the #1 plant-based cheese slice in the category, beating out Daiya and Vegan Life and so on. They became the #1 cheese slice in the category in 13 weeks. And they built household penetration. So as we talked about spending more and more often building the basket, that's what these slices did. The Notco Mayo is the next one on the docket. That's coming out in May, June. It tastes better than the leading brand on the market, which is not Kraft. It's Hellmann's, and it tastes better than that. But again, with that plant-based foundation to make it healthier for people to eat. And then meat is next. So we'll be coming after bacon, sausage, and hot dogs this year, next year, as the technology allows us to get out in the market and test. As we think about that equation of getting you to spend more and more often and come back, these are the types of categories that not only get you to spend more, but get you to realize there's an option in store versus going to a restaurant where you can get these alternatives and bring those dollars back into retail. So we're very excited about this. As we think about these shoppers, they go all across the income spectrum. So the test that we did in Cleveland was in similar geography to many of the retailers that you run and own. So we feel good that this is not just high income shoppers that will only spend top dollar to get plant-based alternatives. This reaches across the demographic platform and just gives people a way to feel better about what they're eating. So I'll close with this. This is what our team is committed to is we want to drive this equation for you. So as our sales team comes out, as I said, my category leadership team has resources as well. Let's leverage this innovation to get more people to come into your stores. Let's leverage this innovation to get people to spend more units, more trade up, more dollars. Let's get them to come in more frequently. That breakfast I used to go to Starbucks for, I'm now going to buy an Oscar Mayer scramble and stay at home instead. Instead of going to a vegetarian restaurant, I'm going to buy the plant-based alternatives that are more affordable and come into your store. Let's get them to come in more often, and that way we win together. So I appreciate the time. I'll open it up if there are any questions. Awesome. Well, thank you. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, that's a great question. We have multiple modes now of speaking to the consumers. So some are traditional. We have focus groups, and we bring people in, we show them concepts, we listen to them, we do shop-along, so we'll go shopping with them. So very traditional market research methods. The things we've migrated to, though, are social listening. So we have a massive engine that we have at our headquarters that listens to social trends and understands what people are talking about and reacts very quickly as well. So just one example, we heard that Chrissy Teigen's husband, John Legend, liked mac and cheese. So we sent him mac and cheese that was customized to him and said, we love your passion about mac and cheese. We created a product just for you. We want to do that not just for the celebrities, but for every person. So we do this going nonstop social listening. We also leverage our retailer data. So we partner to buy retailer data across as part of our investment. And we use that for our category reviews with our retailers, but we also use it to understand what people are buying. Usually when we buy that data, it's across the store. So we can look for products that are purchased together, and many of those programs offer us the chance to talk to their shoppers in the data, but they're consumers at home. So we talk to them to understand why they buy things together, what they're looking for on trends. So those are two major ones. The other big one, obviously, this year, and we've been doing it since before COVID, is talking to the SNAP consumer and understanding the pressures of the economy and what choices they're making. So are they trading off quality? Are they trading off indulgences to keep their food spending? And then within their food behaviors, what is that causing them to do? Where do they want to cut? Where do they not want to cut? And actually, we hear a lot about protecting their family, right? They want to make sure that their family continues to have good choices in food, so they'll trade other things off. So we really try and talk to them in every mode, shopping, online, consuming, to make sure we get that full, well-rounded picture. And then those regional tests, as we roll those out, part of it is walking along with them in store, seeing if they even notice the products, and then if they do, getting their feedback on packaging. When they take it home, we have them have another conversation with us, and how did you like it? What would you change? So it's a great question, and we really try and be comprehensive in our shopper understanding and consumer understanding.
This might be a dumb question, but I'm still trying to understand all the health labels. Say like the plant-based milk is made from cabbage.
Yes.
Is cabbage organic? So is it organic and it's plant-based, or is it plant-based but not organic? I'm still trying to understand how all the labels work.
Yeah, it's a great question. The NotCo team that creates those goes through an extensive understanding of what credentials do you have to bring. So where organic matters, they're going to go organic. Where organic drives the price through the roof and doesn't matter to the consumer, then they don't have to go organic. So it kind of goes back to our consumer understanding of which ingredients matter and at what level do they matter. And then that's where they invest to make sure that we don't drive cost into a product that's not going to make a difference with the consumer. But the clean label, we have to make sure that it shows up on the label the way they expect. So it does relate back to our consumer research and where does it matter and where does it not. It's a great question.
Products up there, the cheese and the hot dog and sausage, are those organic?
I have not heard that they're organic yet. I don't know if any of our Kraft Heinz team has heard. I haven't heard that we've had to go organic to make a difference for the consumer. So I don't think that any of those are, but we'll confirm that for sure. Great question. Well, appreciate the time again. Thanks. And we'll stick around if there are any additional questions. Have a great day.